Hello and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. You join me on Tuesday morning. You might be able to hear I'm eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee. Hold on. My breakfast has peanut butter in it, and the little mouthful I just took had a lot of peanut butter on it. So I've got, teeth stuck together and stuff. I just thought I would do a really quick podcast episode today on my day yesterday. I've got loads of good podcast topics and I will come back to those, but something shifted for me yesterday, and I think it has everything to do with the week that I had last week. I just need to eat this mouthful because it's really lovely. If you want to know, this is my pre-workout breakfast of oats, berries, protein powder and a bit of peanut butter. It's delicious. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that my mum was in a car accident. It was pretty horrific. Last week was very stressful. And for lots of reasons, my plans over the weekend got cancelled. And what I ended up doing with myself on Sunday was going to my friend Chloe's International Women's Day event, which was all about identity. And then I went out for a lovely long walk with one of my clients and friends, Katie, which was lovely. Apart from my dog weed on her parents' dog's face, which was hilarious. But you know what? It teaches Archie for sticking his face where it shouldn't be stuck. Anyway, the point of this is that at the International Women's Day event on Sunday morning, I felt really emotional. A lot of that was to do with, I think, the week that I just had. I didn't realise until Friday just how much shock I was in, just watching my mum be cut from a car. And I really took time over the weekend and on Friday actually to really let that settle and recoup some energy and focus on getting some sleep and stuff like that. And we purposely didn't make too many plans for the weekend to make up for, my plans got cancelled. We didn't remake many plans. And at the event, we really talked about, who we are and how we show up. And I obviously talk about showing up for you all the time. And last week I really, really did try to show up for myself every day, even when I didn't feel like it. And I honestly feel it, getting through the week relatively unscathed. Like as I've spoken about in my social media, I've got a photo shoot in less than 10 weeks. I'm in a dieting phase. I'm in a calorie deficit. And I maintained last week rather than put on, which I so could have easily done. This podcast is not about that, but actually shows that I really did try to show up for me. I didn't put any weight back on. My measurements didn't go up. In my photos I look leaner, and I'm not one of those people that doesn't eat when they're stressed, by the way. Quite the opposite. But anyway, I wanted to kind of come on here today to talk about how much, it's taken me 4 minutes to get there, talk about how much choice you truly have in your life. So I've really been trying to protect my sleep over the last few months, and last week my sleep took a knock in particular. The week started with me being in the hospital until 1 a.m. and then I think I woke up at a stupid time on Monday morning. So I was chasing my tail with sleep for the rest of the week. And a couple of things really changed that for me. One being this, not the sleep, but just how I approached this week. But one being the International Women's Day event, and then the second one being Mel Robbins' latest podcast talking about her nighttime routine. And when I got home from my lovely walk on Sunday, the boys were both kind of slobbing on the sofa. The kitchen was a bit of a mess. Tom wasn't feeling well. Charlie had lost his football match, and then Spurs had drawn 2-2, which he wasn't happy about. And the atmosphere in the house was just a bit blah. And I just decided, you know what? That doesn't matter. I'll just crack on with what I needed to do. And I sorted the kitchen out. I sorted the dinner. I did a little bit of reading in between making my coleslaw and my air fried chips. I started prepping meals for the rest of the week, like air fried a whole load of sweet potato for my lunches. And that was even before I'd listened to Mel Robbins' podcast this week. And then I also made the decision to move my Monday morning workout to 7 a.m. rather than 6:30, just to give me a little bit more time. And so when I got up yesterday at 6 a.m, everything was set out. All my clothes were set out, which they normally are. Everything was set out in the living room, which it normally is to do Monday morning boot camp, the Monday morning live workout. The board was written. I decided on the workout. And I started my day by meditating, which is something that I am trying to practice more of, by journaling, by saying some affirmations, by telling myself I was going to have a really good day. I loved the workout, even though it was really hard. When I finished the workout, I went for a lovely walk with the dog. I put my car in for its MOT and it passed. And then the washing machine man came and fixed the washing machine that broke on Friday. And then in the middle of all that happening, I got a text message from Charlie to tell me that he really wasn't feeling well and he needed to come home, and a text message from Tom to say he would go and get Charlie because he really wasn't feeling well and he was going to come home. Now, let me tell you, all those things on a Monday when it's check-in day normally would have my head spinning and leave me really, really stressed, even though good things happen, like the car passing its MOT and the washing machine getting fixed. Both of which cost money, by the way, but it got to midday and I still hadn't started my check-ins. I normally start check-ins at 10 a.m. And so normally things like the boys coming home and me being late for starting work would leave me really stressed. And I had chosen at the beginning of the day that I wasn't going to have a bad day, that I was going to have a good day, and that great things were going to happen, and that it was going to be a positive day and a happy day, and I was going to be a bloody mum boss. I mean, I want to say the F word, but I'm not going to. I was going to be a fecking mum boss. I was going to, that's my compromise. I was going to mum boss the day. It didn't matter what happened in the day. And I got through my check-ins and I did some of the week's content, and the one thing I didn't get to was my podcast because I wanted to come at it with energy. I went for a run at 5:10. I hate going out in the evening for a run. I hate it. It leaves me cold. It was miserable. It was cold. But you know what? I decided, right, I'm going to run the field so that I can take the dog with me. So I did 4.5 kilometres. Should have done 5, but you know what? I really didn't have the energy to run back round a little loop to do that half. And I gathered that, and I thought by the time I'd walked to the fields and from the fields, that would have been 5k anyway. So I did my cardio, which was something I didn't manage to do last week. And then I cooked dinner. I prepped all the breakfasts and today's lunches. I tidied up. I wrote my to-do list for today. Mainly my to-do list was record a podcast and enjoy my day at the spa with my best friend, and not worry about work. Like, just the fact that I am going for a spa day today and I am not taking my work phone and I'm not worrying about what's going to happen while I'm not here for a day is huge. I decided yesterday I was going to have a good day. I decided I was not going to let things stress me out. And I just really want to reiterate that you have a choice with these things. You get to choose. So you might feel like reaching for that chocolate bar when you know that actually you've got some protein and more healthful snacks in the house. You get to choose to show up for yourself and show up for that workout that you don't really want to do. You get to choose to not let the stress or misery of the day throw you into a spin where you just go inside of your shell and you don't want to see anyone and you don't want to speak to anyone. You get to choose that. You just have to make that choice. And I'm really excited, but I'm making some changes to the way that I do things within the Mum Boss method, in terms of some of the things that I share with my clients and how I teach them to do the things that I do, and teach them how to build this resilience and build this mindset. And I'm really excited to do it. And I just felt called this morning to share with you that, you really do have a choice, and you can decide to do the thing that at the time might feel harder. Like choosing, I need to have another mouthful of my breakfast, I'm sorry, it's so delicious. Choosing to go for a run at 5 p.m. last night when it was grey and miserable, and I knew the dog needed a second walk, so I knew I was going to be running over the fields and it was going to be a little bit muddy. And that's the hard choice. The easy choice would have just been to walk the dog for half an hour and say, oh well, I didn't have time to do both. Choosing to prep my breakfast, Tom's breakfast, my post-workout meal that I need to take with me to the gym today so that I can have that before I go to the spa, it would have been easier for me to say, oh, I'm tired, I'm just gonna, I just want to sit down. I'll do it in the morning. And then this morning would have been rubbish and stressed. And that's the other thing. You can tell this second week in a row I've not written notes for my podcast, right? But what did I do? I've just realised I've recorded this podcast on Loom and not on Zoom. It doesn't matter. The other thing I did was yesterday while I was walking the dog, I listened to Mel Robbins' podcast. And so last night I left my phone charging in my office instead of taking it upstairs with me. So I put it on charge at 8:30. And it stayed there. I did not sleep with my phone next to my bed. I got into bed at 9. I read. I could feel my eyes going at like 9:25. So I turned the light out. I fell asleep pretty much straight away. And I woke up naturally. I'd set my alarm because I'm going to the spa today. I can go to the gym a bit later. I'd set my alarm for 6:30, but I woke up naturally at 6 a.m, meaning I got 8.5 hours sleep. And I've chosen today. Today is going to be an awesome day. I'm going to have an amazing day at the spa. I'm going to feel relaxed. I'm going to have some nice treatments. I'm going to have some quality time with my best friend, which we very rarely get to do without husbands and children hanging on. So, and I got the phone thing. The phone thing was from Mel Robbins. And also doing like the tidying up, writing my to-do list the night before. I always tell myself I'm going to do that and I don't do it. And yesterday I just followed through on all these things that I knew were going to make my life easier, and it has. And that was a choice. And yeah, some of them I didn't feel like doing, but you have a choice. You have so much more choice in life than you give yourself credit for. So today I want you to choose to show up for you. I want you to choose to have a good day despite the things that are going on around you, because you can't control what other people are doing. You can only control your own actions. And it's about time you started to accept that you can make different choices. So that's it from me, a little 15-minute, should we call it a motivational pep talk, a little bit of a rant and a little bit of a story about, the amazing day I had yesterday. If what I'm saying resonates with you and you're thinking, I want a bit of that energy, my contact details are in the show notes. Come and get in contact with me. Let's talk about how I can help you. But in the meantime, have an awesome day. Go and mum boss it. Show up for yourself. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.